podcasting. Is there a podcast? No, there's no Twitch podcast. Okay.
All right, we are live on my channel. Welcome back to Dudes, Dungeons, and Dice. I'm here today with my partner Asagoji,
Hello.
and we have two guests coming in today. First, these two are very close friends of mine. We met not too long ago, but we've grown very close. We have Heather Tuesday.
Hello, everyone. I'm Heather Tuesday. It's a pleasure to be here, Hash.
Oh,
I hope we'll have lots of
no,
fun.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me you coming here, and we have another one of my close friends, Kiki. Would you please introduce yourself as well?
Hello, everyone. I'm Kiki. I'm a friend of everyone here, actually, especially in related to, I suppose, this episode's subject, D&D in our campaigns. And I'm very glad to be here with you guys to talk about, well, our favorite game, D&D, as both a player and a DM. Super excited to talk about it.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming.
All right, so, let's get into. How about Goji? How's your the stream on your end going? Everything fine?
I have started already. This is great. Yeah, really excited to actually be doing the second episode of our podcast now, which we haven't decided on the proper name of it, which is Dudes, Dungeons, and Dice.
All right. So,
And yeah, I'm very excited to have guests over now because it's nice.
I mean, like the two of us together are nice, but
It's nice to have guests.
having friends is always nice.
The more the merrier,
Yeah. I get what you mean. All right. So, for our audience members today, the topic at hand is a topic that's special to all our hearts, actually. It is the reason why this episode is called Into the Virtual World. We are going to be talking about VTubers and role-playing in Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, give me a sec. Let me just pour some wine real quick.
I got my.
I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, Goji's got his wine. I got my soju. I don't know if Kiki and Tuesday have their beverages. But yeah.
I have the best beverage, water.
Yes.
I am
Very
still
nice,
recovering after some, cups and cups and cups of umechu the night prior, so I'm still feeling the buzz. But either way,
Cheers.
I'm very excited to be talking about this very, I suppose, niche within niche concept to talk about.
Yeah, it is a very niche
But
thing, but I feel like
It is, but actually, if you I'm sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a topic that a lot of people like to discuss, especially since very recently a very popular VTuber, a VTuber we all love, Mori Calliope, recently expressed her love for tabletop RPGs. So just wanna spread that love, wanna talk about it while the topic is out there, and
While it's hot.
yeah, while it's hot, if you will, content creators gotta go on that grind, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so we got a few things planned for our stream. We'll be talking a lot about what VTubers are, our favorite ones, some resources you can use to play them in your games, and how we go about playing VTubers in our campaign, because me and Tuesday in particular are, I would say, quite experienced in that field when it comes to playing VTubers and D&D.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
first off, let's go in for a bit for some of our viewers here to what exactly are VTubers, because there's the word YouTuber, and what's the point of taking the U out and changing it with V.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, Goji, I'll take the explanation. So a VTuber is essentially a YouTuber that typically does live streams. Doesn't matter which platform, all platforms apply. And they have in place of their face, or their actual face, they have a virtual avatar that sometimes moves, sometimes doesn't, 2D or 3D, that acts as their sort of medium. And generally these are characters, but a lot of VTubers are also like are truly honest with their personalities, I would say. I'm pretty sure if you go on YouTube, you'll see at least one or two VTubers in your time. Some viewers might know back then the original VTuber. I would say Kizuna Ai. Some people might know modern day legends like Nyanners or Iron Mouse.
Pikami?
Pikami. I would say that's for the Japanese audience, and for a lot of people, especially weebs like us, Nijisanji and Hollowlife are probably the biggest names in VTubing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I may comment a bit, I'd say that if we really go to the lowest denominator as to what is a VTuber, I'd say, well, firstly, chuck the tuber out of the way. They are a content creator, not even necessarily a streamer, because as we just mentioned, the original VTuber Kizuna Ai, her platform was more like just like old school YouTube, right? Videos, not really live streaming, which she does now. But yeah, I would say it's certainly a content creator who portrays themselves as a character via a virtual like character design, regardless of whether it moves in a 2D or a 3D space. But they either portray themselves or portray a character through the visuals of a designed character model of sorts. I would definitely say so. And what's interesting is that this phenomena is often displayed via like tropes of anime design, right? At least that seems to be the most popular choice of VTubing, using an anime design character. Though not necessarily always the case. I know that some people portray themselves in more chibi styles or non-anime styles, or even as cartoons. But yeah, it's certainly a way of presenting content in a sort of body that's not your own.
Yeah, it is.
Well, if there's any other ways to interpret it, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to see like the philosophy of what is a VTuber from my friends over here.
Oh my god. Personally, I'd like to think that honestly, I don't think that all of us remember, but prior to VTubers, the prominent sort of long form content that is in sort of like Twitch or in YouTube is actually either podcasts or streamers. Right before the VTuber boom, I'd like to think, which is around last year, there wasn't a large sort of boom in both chess streaming as well as Among Us streaming, and I don't know. I always thought that VTuber is both a sort of like a subculture of streaming, but also sort of like a little sort of like a cold reply to some of the stereotypes people associate with streamers, especially women streamers, because most VTubers that we know are women. I assume they're mostly women. They portray themselves as women, but then in Twitch there is this sort of like stereotype that women streamers in Twitch are a bit how should I say this? They're not only playing games, and it's allegations here and there, but I feel like VTubing provides this like very weird medium in which these women who do want to stream don't have to worry about these sort of comments or sort of like sleight of hand, made towards them, because they're essentially what they're showing to the audience is something virtual. You can't really make ad hominem arguments against a virtual medium, right? So then they could just focus simply on just streaming and making content and making things entertaining rather than worrying about how they are perceived, physically. So I think VTubing is a good sort of slight answer, but also like I'd say a solution to make streaming safer for women. Actually,
yeah, I would say it makes it safer. Yeah, it's a very neat interpretation. I'd say it makes it safer for women, for men, for anyone, any gender identity out there, to sort of express themselves. As a wise man in another very famous podcast said, VTubers are the future. I think are the future of streaming, because it's a way to express yourself without having to give out everything. Like I tried streaming.
It's comparable. it's very comparable to the notion of being an avatar in a video game, because like if you imagine if we played some form of we played anything on the internet that has interaction to masses of people, and we were forced to do so with representations true to who we are in the real world. That could be perceived as a breach of privacy, and maybe that's why a lot of people aren't into streaming, because they were previously felt forced to have to show who they were, at least in a physical sense. And maybe as an extension of what Heather Tuesday said, maybe for the rise of VTubers is just a reflection of a lot of people that now feel empowered to be able to share their thoughts and their passions on the internet without having to like open the door wide open for the world to know who they are, how they look like, where they're from. It's kind of an equalizer in that sense.
Yeah, I do feel that way as well. That's why, like, before we talk about D&D, I guess just like one last sort of like little note. Like, I've wanted to make content since I was in high school. It's just that my physical self I'm not very confident in. So that's why, like, I sort of like when I saw VTubers, yeah, I thought it was kind of beautiful. It's like, you can make content and be your honest self, but you can perceive yourself in the best way you think you can. And I think that sort of empowerment is beautiful with with all the movements going on today and how the political landscape has changed. I feel like that's a very empowering thing. But we're talking a lot about VTubers. We need to talk about D&D. We need to talk about D&D.
Yeah, we're a D&D channel.
yes.
I didn't say.
Before we talk about D&D, we need to talk about our favorite VTubers.
I mean, like just to allure to how much we love D&D, I did not set the icon of my Discord right now to this piece of art for no reason. This piece of art here that's representing me right now, this is some of my favorite things. One of my favorite things regarding D&D. But anyway, to our favorite VTubers.
Yeah. So if it's okay, let's start.
Let's start from our viewers.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's start from our guests.
Yeah,
yes.
from our guests. Who are some of your favorite virtual content creators out there?
I'm honestly very curious as to who is Heather Tuesdays.
So honestly, I just say like we talked about it like before the stream. I talked about it with Hash, Kiki, and Goji, but I do see them as entertainers. So I don't simp hard for them, because there's that level of professionalism that I like to maintain, that they're entertainers, they're doing their work. But if I had to choose, I'd say it would be Hollowlife's Usada Pekora from their Hollow Fantasy 3rd generation, simply because she is the most entertaining to me, and she has one of the more unhinged following, and she herself is slightly unhinged in a very comical way. Very interesting VTuber. I think just to give respect to how I started my first step into VTubers, I would also say from fantasy there is a VTuber called Harushia. Actually, a clip of her video was one of my first interactions with VTubers, where she was playing Dark Souls, and she had some English viewers, and then she accidentally said that the stream is ending in English, and then suddenly she saw her stream count decrease. I thought it was really funny. And lastly, I'd also give my respect to Hollowlife's first gen Natsuro Matsuri for her Cat Mario gameplay.
Yeah, legendary.
That is my gateway into Hollowlife, and so I would say that these three really define my interests and love for the medium.
All right.
That would be me. How about Kiki? Who would you say is your favorite?
All right. Firstly, I need to clarify. Heather Tuesday's first experience that got him into the rabbit hole. I was present with him, and so I do also have this like deep, like down there in my heart, respect for those two talents from Hollowlife, Uru Harushia and Natsuro Matsuri, for introducing me to VTubing. However, since then, my tastes have expanded, and I found new talents. And yeah, I think Heather Tuesday raises a good point. These are entertainers. They're bringing a performance, and there are different types of performance, just as much as there are different, say, genres of music. And the performances that have captivated me are those that are a little bit, on the wild side, especially because a lot of them are Japanese. And as someone with some experience in Japan, like the notion of a really brash and outspoken lady is rare and endearing. And so from Hollowlife, I have become very attracted to watching three talents in particular. Hollowlife Fifth Generation's Omaru Polka, the circus Fennec Fox, Hollow Fantasies, Hosho Marin, the pirate, and first generation, same generation as Asutsu Matsuri, but second generation. I apologize, fake fan. Ozora Subaru, whose simple concept is being a tomboy, but now he's a duck, and she's performing well recently. So, these performances, in all three cases, they're kind of like twists upon what was, at least in Japanese society, the typical girl. They're outspoken, they're wild, or they're a tomboy. And I really find that intriguing to me. And I'm attracted to their streams because of that. So these are the three, at least Hollowlife streams that I am attracted to recently. But how about our hosts?
So
Hash?
do we start with the veteran or do we start with the one who's newly inducted?
Which one would you guys rather hear?
You want to hear the one who's been in this fight since he was 6 years old, or the newbie?
Bruh, we know who you simp for. Hash, Asagoji, please go ahead. I don't need to know who you simp for.
So pretty much I got into VTubers because of Hash. Like, he sent me a video of Tuesay's Tuesay's original song of Ghost. And I wasn't really into VTubers that much before that. I mean, like, I knew what they were, I knew the content that they made, but it didn't really appeal to me that much until I listened to the song, and then that's when I fell down the rabbit hole. So
As they all do.
But besides that, I think my favorite VTuber right now probably isn't from Hollowlive, actually. Well, actually, I have two that are like the two that I mainly watch nowadays, which is Roberu Yukoku from Hollow Stars, because everyone loves our winning son. And actually, Ollie from Crazy Ollie from Hollowlive Indonesia.
Yes.
Is probably one of my favorite VTubers.
Respect.
Yeah,
The jazz aesthetic, really nice.
I really like their content. And especially sometimes because I rarely see collabs between Hollowlive, like JP and Hollow Stars. I really like the connection between Hollowlive Indonesia and
yes.
That's a very recent phenomenon. That is very interesting. Yeah.
If you like that kind of stuff, Goji, I recommend catching Oga and Fubuki streams. They have like this really good sibling energy.
The brother sister synergy, yes. As well as Ollie and Astel, but it's a bit different, but it's kind of like the same.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorite VTubers right now.
By the way, guys, this
I personally.
that's not everyone yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Tell the world who you sim for.
Before that, I just want to say that this is typically how people that gone to Hollowlive around now sound, Goji. But
yes,
I'm gonna throw a curveball here. First, I'd just like to say that I've watched VTubers since the Kizuna Ai days. I was like one of the many thousands of people who tuned into her streams and was enjoying it. I got bullied for it, but who cares about that? So I watched her content. I sort of fell off not too long after, and then Niji Sanji and Hollowlive pulled me back. I have to give mad respect to Anja Katarina for getting me back into.
Oh shit! Respect the mage,
dude. Her aesthetic, her stream style, her voice I'm all big fans for. But then, much like Tuesday and Kiki, I got back into Hollowlive. I got into Hollowlive because of Natsuru Matsuri's Cat Mario and Drunken Mario Kart streams. Because
Oh my god, yeah.
because I saw this brash woman, this brash lady who literally said, "F the company." I'm God. And I was like,
And it's not fired. She is not
yeah, she's
fired.
not fired.
You know,
And I was
she's
like,
still here.
the company must be cool too. Then I feel good supporting this kind of thing. If she can say that and not get punished heavily, especially the Japanese company, right?
yeah.
And of course, mad respect to Holostar's Yuko Kuroberu. I was in his journey. I was along for his journey from 50K to 100K, and I gotta say that boy works fucking hard.
Early milestones.
Yeah, dude. Like early Holostars was, so it was like heartbreaking, but it was like watching a shonen anime. Like these these boys trying their best, and now they're in a good spot because they tried their best, and it's good to see. But if you want the two I simp for, because I come from idol.
Here we go.
I come from idol culture. I was a fan of AKB and Love Live before Hollowlife, so simping is natural for me.
You breathe.
Yeah, I breathe.
You
simp.
breathe.
You just adopted the simping.
Yeah.
I was born in
into
it.
I love, and everyone knows this. My two favorite ones are Hollowlife 4th generation's Tokoyami Toa and 5th generation's Momosuzu Nene. Now, the reason
There we go.
the reason why I love Tokoyami Toa is first, her content was very accessible to me. It's just she plays shooter. She's kind of funny, and she has this the meme, the TMT meme, which I thought was really funny. But what really made me fall in love with her was when I saw her cover of Brilliant. And at first,
Mad respect,
yeah, 'cause
respect.
at first I was like, oh yeah, I like her.
Alright,
I like her
yeah, that
design,
was a
but
thing.
I'm more into Kiryokoko, but because she's funnier. But then I heard Brilliant, and I was like, oh no, this is because I had a history of liking that type of voice when I was in my idol phase, when I was in my like Japanese and Korean idol phase. So it just went downhill from there. Then she released Error. Then every video I saw her singing, I was just crying. And then it all culminated to Palette. Palette was, I would argue, one of her more beautiful songs.
Palette's so
Yeah,
good.
it got my sister into VTubers, by the way.
Oh,
Palette and Ghost.
More to the
Those
whole.
are the two. And then like I just I don't know how much I can talk about it in the stream right now, but early in her career she faced some sort of controversy, and that was when I got into her. So I literally saw her sub count drop by half, which sank my heart to the bottom of my stomach. But then I saw her claw her way back, and now I would say she's in a very good spot. Everyone knows her as Hollowlife's, like one of Hollowlife's top 3 voices, or one of Hollowlife's best singers, and I mad respect for her continuing that fight.
And if I may add, I think in Social Blade, her viewer, like, I think most of her viewership, strangely enough, is from overseas, like compared to the other Hololive,
76%.
Holostars. Yeah. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting phenomena, I must
If you
say.
go to the
She clawed her way to the top after such a big plummet. That's something to respect. In fact, something to drink for. Hold on.
yeah, let me. I'm gonna drink a shot to that. Actually, this is for you, Tom.
Cheers.
If you're ever watching this, which probably not, but
Yeah.
who knows? Speaking of peaches.
Hey, but that's just one of them.
Speaking of peaches.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Momosuzu Nene from 5th gen.
There we go.
First, I liked her because it's gonna sound kind of shallow, but I expected enough. In the when 5th gen debuted, they had all of their designs and their Twitter accounts in line, right? And Nene was the one that I expected the least from, because the others had their unique gimmicks, had their unique designs, and Nene seemed like, oh, she's the normal girl out of the bunch, which you could argue she is. But then I watched her content. I liked her voice. I like how she ran things. I like that she had that, I don't know how else to describe it. She had that Matsuri charm, that unhinged girl kind of, that unhinged girl waiting to be released kind of vibes. I was like, okay, I'll stick around. I'll see what happens. And, I liked her more and more. She was, somebody put it very nicely that Polka is this crazy girl who when you watch her you find out she's normal. Nene is this normal girl
Absolutely is.
who you watch and you find out she's crazy. Like I remember I was she made me like this literally made me like cry laughing when she was with Matsuri. I think she was with Matsuri and a couple of other streamers. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they're talking about like what kind of guy that they like, right? And then they said that she liked the guy who clicked her tongue, and I was just like, what? You know, it's like it was that moment. Like, wait, what? Come again, pardon?
That would not fly.
Yeah, but you know,
normally.
But you know, up until the point, I still only liked her. I would say that, oh yeah, Toa's still my top girl. You know, brilliant palette. Oh, beautiful. And then 5th Gen had their 3D debut, and then Nene was the only one left out at that moment. And as I was watching her sort of like kind of struggle with that, I was like, oh no, there's this feeling. It's like I had this feeling when I saw Toa subcut at 150k. Fuck. You know, it's coming back. And then I saw her sort of like get frustrated, talk about it honestly with her fans. And then when her 3D debut came about, her 3D model was beautiful.
Yeah, that was recent.
Yeah, that was very recent. Her 3D model is beautiful.
As the stream.
She had this spirit or this aura that was emanating like happiness. It was just infectious. And then her original song came on, and then I remember I was sitting with my sister watching it because I was trying to get her into VTubers. And then I just said in front of my sister, I'm in love. As soon as
wow.
I was like, I'm in love.
Awesome, man.
And yeah, now I catch Nene's stream every day, especially when she's building her castle in Minecraft. It's really fun seeing this girl who's trying her best, but she's like a kindergartner, you know. It's like she's so happy, she's so like infectious that
Cheerful.
It just cheers my day.
Yeah.
That's just why I love them, I suppose.
Oh, there you
Honestly,
go.
though, she's a meme lord, though.
Shirobaka's type.
Yeah.
Hardworking, joyful.
Yeah, that's honestly, yeah, you're right. But yeah, and of course now Nene is also a meme lord. Like,
Dude, she's a meme lord. Like, it's like she's a sweet. Her memes are sweet, but like sometimes you go to her stream, there's all of these illustrations she makes of herself, and you just have to accept it. You know what I
very
mean?
endearing.
Don't question it. Don't question
every time
it.
she has a super chat reading stream in one of our Discord servers, I would just send like, she's at it again, guys. She's doing this again.
Yeah, but very long.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, that's
All
enough
right.
about our favorite VTubers. Talking passionately about them. Let's move on to why would you play a VTuber in D&D? Now, if it's okay, I would like to start off.
That's a very crazy question. I did not imagine I would ever hear in my ears.
Yeah.
Wait, so before we go into that, by what you mean by why would you want to play a VTuber? Do you mean like becoming a virtual idol in a D&D campaign, or do you mean like playing a character inspired by a virtual idol?
I mean, like character inspired by a current virtual idol, and I was gonna argue that it's like any other. It's like when you take a Star Wars character, your favorite Star Wars character, or your favorite Marvel character, and you play them in D&D. I would say it's the same sort of vibe, if you will. Like you're taking something that you really love, you really like, and you're putting it into this game world that you love. Of course, at your DM's discretion. Although I think in this server, we're like, whatever, just do it. If you love it, you do it.
Yep.
It's D&D. Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
D&D.
If I may say though, I will say one thing about like the appeal of depicting these like at least today's type of VTuber characters in D&D. It's that VTubing, even though nothing about the term screams anime, we cannot deny the fact that most VTubers take a design that is inspired by anime. That in itself, Japanese animation is very tied to fantasy, an essential trope, an essential essence of D&D. Like even if you just remove VTubers, I think it's not too far to say that a lot of D&D players have been inspired by anime tropes or have made characters based
Oh
on their
my
favorite
God.
anime,
That's
right? Like
Inspired
we're gonna
or
talk about it.
cursed?
Like
Inspired or cursed by anime?
sometimes it's just what happens. Even in, I believe we're gonna eventually talk about like D&D homebrew inspired by Hollowlife and VTubing. But even before that existed, I'm very sure Naruto homebrew in D&D has existed for years.
You're not wrong.
The
You're not wrong.
Shinobi class,
Indeed it has.
Yeah.
and like so just like Hashiro said, what's the reason to play anything in D&D? Is because you want to be them and because you think they're cool. People think VTubers are cool. But I think we can't ignore the aspect that VTubers' relation to anime, which is related to fantasy, which is related to D&D, I think that cannot be like underappreciated or ignored.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And of course,
That's true. That's
yeah, and of course, if you're running like a more futuristic D&D setting, there are VTubers for that too.
yeah, like there's VTubers for everything.
Yeah.
Honestly.
At this point, yeah, there is. Like honestly, who?
I distinctly remember in one of your campaigns that you ran, Hash, like you allowed us to actually for like one of our like actual professions outside of outside of our D&D classes, you actually allowed us to be a VTuber
Yeah, I did.
because
I did.
it was in a futuristic setting.
Yeah, for Dungeon Punk, like if you guys wanted to, you could start a live show broadcast where you play a character, and I alluded to it being a VTuber. Yeah, that was true.
So yeah, see, it's not far off from D&D. You can easily incorporate VTubers into a D&D setting.
Yeah.
But like it depends on like the technology of your world and such. But even then, maybe in like a medieval setting, even you could have like not it probably won't be virtual, but
Oh,
you
bro.
use magic to to show.
Do I have a story for you?
I'd love to hear it later.
Yeah, and it's very flexible. You can definitely put that. Now, this moving on to this sort of segues into how you guys can implement VTubers in your world, which we already sort of discussed in that, but also how we implemented VTubers on our world. Now, Tuesday has a very big implementation of VTubers in his world. So I think we'll start off.
Certainly,
It's okay.
the most that maybe you'll ever hear.
Yeah, so I think you can start. I'll start off because mine's a lot simpler.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I've had 2 campaigns where I included VTubers in the setting. One as a job that you can do, which is just asterisk VTubers. It's not really VTubers. And the other one, I have VTuber characters as a sort of rival party to the current party. So I based them off Hollowlife 5th Gen. So they're all characters from there. And I took story elements from their time on YouTube and implemented it to the sort of world setting, if you will. And, it's basic. I just took the characters, put them through sort of my lens and how they would work in a fantasy setting, and then created them put them into my world. Like,
To interrupt you there, Hashirobaka. I think the audience might want some details. You said that you turned Hollowlife 5th Gen characters into a rival party in D&D. How about some examples? Who did you take and what did they become in D&D? Like
Classes, exactly.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, for my interpretation, let's start with Shishiro Botan from Hollowlife 5th Gen. What's it called? Of course, I renamed them. I didn't take their direct names, but it's still similar. She took 4 levels of. At 5th level, she took 4 levels of Rogue, Mastermind specifically, and she took 1 level of Fighter, and now she's 5 levels of Rogue and 1 level of Fighter. The idea is I wanted that sniper sort of like aesthetic, but also a leader, because I think a lot of us can understand that. A lot of us agree upon that Chishiro feels like the leader of Gen 5, or at least the.
And also, she's sorry.
Hey, you're saying no. You're saying,
Yeah, and also she's she's really good at FPS games. So I guess you can see where you want to put the shooter aspect.
Exactly. I see it.
Totally.
And she's the
So I guess you must have used crossbows,
yeah.
right?
She used a heavy crossbow, and I gave her the archery fighting style so that she would hit her targets. Unfortunately, in the game itself, I kept
Yes.
missing.
Oh my god! I remembered.
It's
I remembered.
D&D.
I was in the
It's
game.
D&D,
It's
man.
D&D.
Yeah.
Guys, remember it's D&D.
Yeah, sometimes
you
things
can
don't
make
go-
the best build.
yeah,
You were saying.
sometimes
And just
things
roll
go your way.
terribly.
Sometimes things don't go your way.
Oh
Your
my
favorite
God.
character
I love
may
D&D.
die, sadly.
I love D&D.
Yeah,
I love D&D.
But yeah,
So that's Botan.
yeah. Well, she had a sniper thing, and mastermind as a mastermind rogue, you can give advantage to your friend as a bonus action. So that plays into like the leader aspect of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Polka, I took some inspiration from Tuesday actually, because in his campaign he also ran Polka as a wild magic sorcerer. So I was like, you know what? It works. I'll do it.
It's a mood.
Yeah, it's a mood. I made her. I tried to give her a grunge, like a more New York, like rough accent. I tried. But you know, learning 5 characters is a bit tough, even if you're kind of an experienced DM. But yeah, her gimmick was that she'd be in sort of the back, making the other characters more crazy, more fast. Her main move would be twin spelling haste to her frontline party, and then you know they go super fast. They'd be
You
crazy.
did it once and then had to maintain concentration on that the whole fight.
Yes. Yes, because she positioned herself in ideal positions. But you know if you're actually running that in your games, be careful. Okay, yeah, that's Polka. Next up, Lami. Lami, I made her straightforward into a Eldritch Knight just because I wanted. Just because Lami is the image of Lami is this girl that you want to protect at first. And then you figure out, oh, never mind, she can fight for herself very, very much. And so I wanted to sort of like give that sort of idea. Well, people will say, oh, she's a spellcaster. So it's like, oh, she's a spellcaster, she should be in the back, right? But no, she's an Eldritch Knight. So she goes to the front and fucks shit up. And I gave her a sake
Monks,
bottle
man.
as a weapon, which is just basically a reflavored club. You can do stuff like that in D&D. Talk to your DM. It's all good.
Yeah.
That's Nene. I made her into a Way of the Astral Self monk, and her astral self is a giant bear. Because
Yes. It's Tasha's content. We have to mention that.
it is Tasha's content. So if you're a DM and stuff,
Oh yeah, the newest book.
yeah, if you're DM and stuff and are okay with that, maybe do what Tuesday did. Made her I think Sun Soul, right?
Yeah, I think I made Nene a Sun Soul.
Yeah, I think Sun Soul would do good as well, especially since in her hologram debut she fired a laser.
Yeah.
So
Oh my god.
yeah, and the reason why I did that is because I don't know, she just has that mood of being in the front and going fast and punching things. Also, probably from her old design too, the Chinese dress and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yes,
with like the twin buns.
Yeah, with the twin buns and such.
which he still has.
Still size, yeah. And lastly, Mano Aloe. I made her a College of Creation bard. And the reason why I put her into College of Creation, and I think I put way more philosophical thought than needed into this, is because
Hey, it happens.
even
it happens,
when
man.
I thought about it,
And
it's like, oh, it's
sometimes
kind
it's
of
cool.
beautiful. The story of Mano Aloe. It's a sad one. It's a very tragic story in real life lore, but it's so beautiful that she created this this mindset, this drive in for, I don't know about the Japanese fans, but in international fans, whenever we see a Hollowlife girl struggling or threats from aunties, we have a mantra. Never, her name is Mano Aloe. Never forget that name.
Bruh, we become New York City.
Yeah, we become New York Essential.
You
my
find one of us. You find
You
one
mess
of us.
with
You
all
find
of
all.
us.
Yeah, and you read it under a banner, and I thought that was beautiful. Like she created
Yeah.
something even even though things didn't necessarily go the best way. And I thought like, oh, she
All
created
right.
something. College of Creation sounds nice. And also, I wanted
So
to
like I just want to comment. I just want to comment that like as we can see, interpretations of pre-existing characters in D&D doesn't always just take what they physically look like and turn them into a character based on that, right? Sometimes it really is how we feel of that character that morphs our perception and thus their interpretation in a game like D&D.
Exactly,
I
because
think that's, I think it's super cool.
yeah, because if you were to actually just use like the physical representation of each of the characters and have them like be your character in Dungeons and Dragons, then most of the time everyone would just be either an elf, a human, or just a variant human, and it doesn't really encompass like the feeling of Dungeons and Dragons where you get to create your own character and have like the uniqueness of it.
Oh, I almost forgot another. It's kind of a spoiler for the campaign, but also not really. Hollowlife
It's
ID
all right.
are like are how do I say this, personification of either elements or ideals in my world. So Crazy Ollie in my campaign
It's death,
no,
is it?
she's the personification of fun, of
Ooh.
enjoyment. That's why she's immortal. Fun never dies if you try hard enough.
Okay, then what about Muna?
Yeah.
Muna.
Oh no, that's spoiler
That's spoiler
territory. I
They've
think
only
we
met
have it.
Ollie.
Okay.
We have enough ideas.
They've only met Ollie.
Yeah, but either way, yeah, it just goes to show that like sometimes a character that a pre-existing character becomes more than what they really are in another fictional setting, such as the D&D
Definitely,
Yeah, and
definitely.
That's
I
actually a
agree.
perfect segue into how Tuesday does his VTuber stuff. So Tuesday, would you please
Okay.
tell us about
Certainly.
Hollow Tower?
Okay, so before Hollow Tower, I'll just mention that I did have a long streak where I, as a PC, played different Hollowlife characters. So if this helps with some build ideas, I'll mention it right now. So I've played as Hoshomarin. I'm still playing as her. I made her a swashbuckler fighter. I gave initially it's 2 levels of fighter, and then you just go down rogue as a swashbuckler. That's my interpretation of her because she's a pirate. Another, it's actually in one of Hash's games, is Hoshimachi Suisei. But her storyline feels a bit more part of his world rather than Suisei as a true representation of Suisei. It has the spirit, I would say, but it's not really supposed to be a lot like Suisei. The gimmick initially that I had for that one was that she liked to play gacha. Another one in Hash's campaign was Mori Calliope. I'm sorry. So with Hoshimachi Suisei, I made her an Oathbreaker Paladin, but she multi-classes into College of Swords Bard. So if that's a good starting point for you, go ahead. Another one was Mori Calliope, very simple, Grave Domain.
Yes, death.
And another one, actually, this is one of the. I'll start with a simpler build. I've played as Kiryu Koko, and I made her actually Oath of Conquest Paladin. And the idea was that Coco herself faced intense controversy, and she gets a lot of hate. And it's sort of like I felt like it was like one manifestation of how I viewed Coco being uber strong, which is this Oath of Conquest Paladin. Like their channel divinities, conquering presence, guided strike. It's very out there, and that's why I thought that Oath of Conquest really fit the image of Kiryu Koko in my mind. And lastly is Shiranui Flare from Hollow Fantasy 3rd Gen. I made her I made her a high elf, of course. Even though I found out she was a half elf, I made her a high elf. And basically, she is an Eldritch Knight fighter and a War Magic wizard. And she plays very well. She scales very. She scales pretty okay in the early game, and then she scales very well post 10. So if you're interested in playing this sort of like magic build, that's a bit more has a bit more umph to it, I suggest this build, and you can play as Flare, where initially you go 5 a fighter. Initially you go 5 fighter, then you put 1 level in wizard, and then you go all the way to fighter until the 8th level of fighter. So that's level 9 in total. And then afterwards you go wizard until you get level 3 spells. That is I know that is complicated. That's why Flare is the last one. But yes, so that is my experience playing as a whole array of VTubers. Now to my campaign. So as Hannah said, my campaign is called Hollow Tower, and the entire everything in the campaign is basically an ode to Hollowlife. And
except
basically
for the aesthetic, except for the atmosphere.
except for the aesthetic, because I had several fears from my players. They said that is this just going to be fanfare? Is this just going to be like lots of in jokes? I was like, no. It's just inspired by Hollowlife. It's just my way of. Firstly, it's my first time DMing, so I needed a very constricted campaign that is easy to manage as a first time DM. And so I made Hollow Tower, and of course I just had this strike of like inspiration. And so basically, the way that my campaign is structured is that the party, which I call challengers, they enter into this unknown world, and before they lost most of their memories, except meeting this goddess of the sky, or goddess, or like this head goddess in their world associated with the sky. Of course, this is alluding to Tokinosora. But each character has their own interpretations of what the sky goddess is supposed to mean, and what do they do. But basically, they go into this sort of like, if you've played the City of Final Fantasy, sort of this in-between world, and then they enter into this huge tower, and basically they have to ascend the tower in order to meet what is basically Tokinosora. And each floor is themed, I suppose, or set based on each generation in Hollowlife. So when I started making Hollow Tower, the lowest floor, not because they're lesser, it's just because they're the newest one, is 5th gen. So you had they're sort of manifested as the guardians of the tower that you have to either gain a favor for, or you can defeat all of them. And so unlike in Hash's world, where they're like just like normal mortals, in my world, in Hollow Tower, they're part of the lore. So they're these like greater deity-like entities. Yeah. And basically they are the guardians of this tower. Like Kiki is in my campaign. He equates it to Shadow of the Colossus, which I really like.
Yeah.
Where
and it's especially because mechanically they're all bosses, right?
Yes, they're all bosses. So Hollow Tower, every single one of them is a boss.
Yep.
And the idea is you're supposed to collect one from each tower to aid you as you keep going up. So initially, what they got was one of Gen 0 as their sort of arc patron. And I gave them Sakura Miko. And these I'll explain the mechanics of the patron. So this patron specific mechanic is a homebrew where once per floor, they can summon this great boon from their patron in order to aid them in the floor. And that's the mechanic of the patron. And when you go to each floor, you have a chance of acquiring one more patron from each floor. So my current party from fifth gen, they chose Lami. And then right now they're at the 4th floor, which is 4th gen. They chose Toa. And so and then it'll be after 4th floor, it'll be 3rd floor, and then Hollow Gamers, and then 2nd gen, and then 1st gen, and then of course the 0th gen. So basically all of them they will fight all of them. Basically they're all bosses. But interestingly enough, it's not only manifested as bosses. They're a rival party, which I do recommend, I guess, to DMs to always have a rival party alongside the main party, just to have this little bit of, I guess, rivalry. The rival party is Hollow EN.
And interpreted in a pretty cool way. I can say so myself.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems that he's busy with his parents. That's fine. Let's move on.
Yeah. We have Hollow.
Yeah,
They are
sorry.
Hollow En. They're Hollow En. But the most recent, I'd say, update to Hollow Tower that my players were able to see, which is basically Hash and Kiki being one of in the group, is basically Hollow ID are the
Ooh.
shopkeepers
Yep.
in the world.
They were.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
pretty cool to see them.
Super cool.
Exactly. So yeah, unlike Hash, where Hollowlife is a sort of significant, but not the whole of his campaign.
Yeah.
In my campaign, my campaign is Hollowlife.
I would say it's like a lot.
So-
it's like a
At
love
least
letter,
in essence.
if you will.
Certainly, yeah. Like I can say, like as a player of this campaign, like a few episodes of things that I've witnessed. I have the character art that I am using as an avatar in this podcast right now is my character in Heather Tuesday's campaign, and being her, some experiences that I've had is I've almost been upright killed by an ice witch that would later be our patron, who is essentially the ice witch concept taken from Lami, Hollowlife's
Yes,
regeneration talents, turned into a fantasial D&D fantasy ice witch that we had to fight. It was, and you can see how we can extrapolate those kinds of ideas from the talent. I can say it was super cool. I almost got killed by an ice ball, which is a fireball with ice damage, but being a half-orc, relentless endurance got me up again, and even maintained my concentration on Witch Bolt.
Yeah, this is
Mm.
the
Yeah,
campaign
I
where I
like-
taught everyone chess
We
moves.
experienced stuff like that.
Yeah, we had chess plays in this campaign. Sorry for the.
I believe.
Was it 4D chess?
No. It's called controlling the lines. But
Lines,
I
diagonals,
also like to tell the viewers that just because, let's say, I'll give this as an example. In as a boss, the way I manifested Botan, Shishiro Botan from 5th Gen, is not as a tabaxi, but she is an orc.
Oh.
She's an orc that wears a lion pelt. So the vibe is still there, but just because you see that the talents or like the content creators are of a specific leaning, like what Asagoji had said, that doesn't mean you have to sort of think like, oh, it's Omaru Polka, she's a phoenix, she must be a tabaxi. It's not needed. You could add your own little flavor into it, and that's one way that I went a bit differently, is that I made Botan specifically in this campaign as an orc. And
that's so
honestly, it fit really well. It had the same concept that Hashi had, but I made her an arcane archer, and she hit like a truck.
Yep, definitely did.
Honestly,
Didn't she kill my character?
No.
yeah, she killed Asagoji's character. Yeah,
Almost killed me too. Almost
Yeah,
killed my character
it
too.
just
Yeah.
goes to show, like even when you're trying to make a character based off another fictional character, just like when you make a character based on yourself, why must it have to adhere to the race? Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Loxodon Omaru Polka.
Oh, yours is Loxodon? Mine is I forgot to mention, Polka in my campaign is a shifter. She's one of those half animal types,
Oh yeah, the ones that are can be kind of beastly. Like why? Like for what reason at all must you adhere to the race or the class of a real fictional property? The whole point of D&D is that you can take the concept and go wild with it.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
I
yes,
say
yes.
do exactly that if you feel
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
going off topic.
And,
going off topic a bit. Like I made Tenya Ida from Boku no Hero a Tabaxi, just because. Just because.
Yes, because
Tabaxi's so fast.
No, just
Fast
because
boy.
of like feline agility is recipro burst. Like change my mind.
Yeah, it is.
Tenya Ida is
it-
fast as fuck.
It doubles your movement
Yeah,
speed,
for
right?
free, and then to recharge it, you have to not move. It's genius. By the way, I
yes.
interrupted you. I'm
So
sorry.
no. I'll just say, I hope it works. I'll tell the viewers that you don't need to adhere to their what you perceive to be the most accurate race. You should go crazy with them, and one thing I really like about VTubers as compared to anime characters is that anime characters, if you, or like any book characters, you want to take them as inspiration, let's say Harry Potter or Narnia, they're very stagnant, the only point of reference for you is the book. With VTubers, they are a fluid subject or object, like there is no limits to what kind of thing will happen, because they themselves as entertainers are going through the motions as well.
Yeah.
When I first made Momosuzu Nene as a way of Sansol monk, I didn't know she was going to have a thing with bear ears, and so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna add bear ears to her temple. And then the bear ears were there, and then once we were done with that, suddenly she was into seals. I couldn't add that, so I feel like VTubers and emulating VTubers in D&D is a very good opportunity, because you do not know where they're going to take their character, and that means you do not know, how much inspiration and how fitting they will be in your world. And that's why I think VTubers are a good subject.
Yeah,
it's very
certainly a
flexible.
wild card.
Yet you still have to what do you call it? It's very flexible in your design, but you still have to decide what you do with that character later, because keep in mind these they might be characters, but they're controlled by real people, and real people will change, and their likes change, their personalities can fluctuate. So just because you take the design doesn't mean that you can encompass the entirety of their character.
Yeah, especially I think it's very important to what Heather Tuesday said. Unlike a book or unlike a movie, a live streamer's content that you can take inspiration from doesn't end in one sitting. They're gonna keep live streaming, and new events will happen that clearly Hashiro and Heather Tuesday can take inspiration from in future events of that campaign. And I think that certainly is a unique benefit or challenge.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, it's totally up to you.
I would say, and I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but maybe not controversial, but a weird opinion. Making a character out of a VTuber is a lot like making a character out of a pro wrestler. You know how pro wrestlers have
eras. I get you.
They have eras, right? And they're constantly evolving. So you can pick out an era, you can pick out a time. I can go as either Roland Undertaker from the 90s, or I can take
I was about to say Undertaker, right?
I can go beginning Undertaker as the Dead Man. Same. I could.
Yeah, exactly.
I could be modern modern Momosuzu, which is the meme lord. I can just play. I can make her a wild magic sorcerer and play on the seals and the chaotic memes that she's going on, or I can be
the Karen.
Yeah, or it could be normal, the initial Nene, and go the monk route, which I think most of us would go.
Adding to the tangent. I love wrestling as well. If I made classic Big Show as a D&D character, completely barbarian. Yeah. If I take present day Big Show into D&D, it would be a barbarian multi-classed with a wizard, because the guy turns out to be smart as fuck.
Yes, I know how you feel.
The guy has a master's, by the way.
Yeah, initially.
So
Undertaker, Warlock. Initially Undertaker, Barbarian. No longer 90s era, Barbarian Warlock. Anyway.
Yeah, just like how wrestlers have their gimmicks, VTubers have their own personas.
Yes.
All right.
So I think we need to highlight how just like we were comparing VTubers to wrestlers as being part of a medium that spans a long time, but we should rate it home. D&D and a D&D campaign is also an art form that lasts a long time.
Yes,
people play D&D in one campaign for years or months.
Exactly.
Least, right? Or
that is true. That's true.
And that's why, because both of these things span long times, they both change and they can influence each other that way. Yeah.
That is a
definitely
opinion. Actually, that's very nice.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, Critical Role, Dimension 20 as an alternative, all of these things.
Critical Role, and it's last today's. I don't know if you guys watched it, but today's episode. Woo! Woo!
No, I haven't caught up, but yes, definitely. It's again VTubers. The good thing about them compared to anime is that they are not stagnant, and you can either see it as a challenge or you can capitalize on it and add your own little spin to it, which I think at least my players are enjoying it. So I do feel like so far it's going quite well. And I can say as a player of Hash's world, it's also implemented quite well. So don't be too afraid to don't think that you have to copy them to the T. Just having them there and just having just one or two quirks is enough to just spice up your campaign a bit.
And sometimes you don't even have to say like, oh yeah, that's a Hollowlife reference. You can just describe them eerily similarly to Hollowlife character, and your players don't have to know.
I mean, we do that whenever we reference any media in a D&D campaign.
Sure, yeah, pretty much.
Because sometimes you don't want to be called out by your player, like, hey, isn't that just Lord of the Rings? But sometimes you do it out of fun because we're just playing with friends anyway.
Yeah. You should feel comfortable in your.
Didn't we have Uguay in one of your campaigns, Hash?
Yeah, we did. We had Uguay, we had Shrek, Shrek.
We fought a Rajang.
Like
what D&D campaign is not inspired by something?
Yeah. And right now we're doing.
Exactly.
Warhammer.
Now we're doing Warhammer.
Yes. So D&D. It's at the core of it. D&D. All the podcasts will say this. Even people like in Critical. It's about having fun with your mates. So don't as a DM, don't sweat on making it too perfect, because the thing I can take away from Hollow Tower is that I want to tell my players a story, but then my players will tell a piece of the lore back to me. So don't try to make the perfect campaign from initially, I would say. And just have fun with it and make sure it's an open communication and it's a shared experience. I think every podcast will say that.
All right. Now, let's talk about a few resources that the community has given to make builds either easier or just items you want to add to your world. I'm thinking of adding some of these items to my world actually.
Let me try finding them actually. So there was a link you sent, right, about Hollowlife magic items.
So Hollowlife magic.
Yes.
By this.
Yes, there is a emergence of Hollowlife inspired and VTuber primarily Hollowlife inspired D&D content.
Yeah, this it is available online.
I believe Reddit, right?
Yeah, I've read. We've all read through it. I think most of us have read through it. The magic items themselves are range from. They're pretty good. Some are pretty good. Some are pretty meh. But it's just there to give you like inspiration again. And some of them are cool. Are really cool, like Kachima's lunchbox.
Let's go to Hachima's lunchbox.
Well, speaking of which, so what is the resource? We should give it some respect. Like, what is the resource? Where we get it from? Who do we know is behind it?
It is from Reddit. It is by a person by the name of Purple Fire 18. And yes, it is in the Hollowlive Reddit/Hollowlive r/Hollowlive page.
You can find it.
Honestly, if you just search Hollowlive magic items, you can find it.
Search Hollowlife magic items or Hollowlife D&D, it'll come up. And this has everything from Gen 0 to the managers, so you can go wild.
Beautiful, honestly.
Oh, Achan.
Yeah, you can go super wild with it. There's a lot. Even if you're not into Hollowlife, some of these magic items might be cool for your world as well.
The cursed lunchbox.
Yeah. So again, I encourage you, seek it out. Give this guy love and support, because he worked his ass off for this on his own time.
Yeah,
I certainly know. Like, this isn't the first in this podcast. This wouldn't be the first time I've encountered this homebrew. I've encountered this homebrew months ago before it was complete. A prior version of it, and like that goes to show this is now a finished product, free for everyone. And it took months to make, with the consultation of fellow fans of the source material to depict somewhat with good faith in a setting like D&D. So they worked really hard. They expressed their passion for two separate things, VTubing and D&D, and found a very creative way to put it together. So we want to pay a good homage to it by showing all the cool stuff inside it, right?
Yeah.
It is very cool. This is like, today was the first day that I actually saw it, and then I'm really surprised and like very happy about all the information, the effort that was put into making this. Actually, it is. It actually looks like a a source book actually.
Yeah, there
If
are
we're talking about
Exactly.
like the
there are
items.
tons of D&D supplements out there for your fandom stuff. This is one of them, and it's special to us because it relates to something we like. There's
We are simps.
yeah,
Yes.
there's the Monster Hunter one. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about that. I think I saw.
Oh, Naruto one.
I'm pretty sure if you find
Yeah, the Naruto one we alerted to before. It's
If
there.
it's on the internet, you'll probably find
you'll
it.
probably
if
find
it's
it.
like a
Oh,
even if it's like a
Darkest
semi-
Dungeon.
Oh, the Darkest Dungeons. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Darkest
good. Bloodborne. The Bloodborne one is also pretty.
That's a good one though.
Yes, Bloodborne as well.
You can really
Lots of
just
good-
go on the internet, type a fandom of your interest, and type D&D homebrew next to it. You might find something interesting.
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be balanced,
Yep.
but it might be in good faith,
Yep. I
representing that source
I can
material.
tell from experience when I DM for you guys, like, oh no, this is going wrong.
praise the proto vorpal sword.
God damn it! Don't remind me about that, man.
but if I may go on a tangent, surprisingly, my patron abilities have not been as game breaking as I initially thought it would be. I thought I would need to patch them, but so far those patron abilities haven't been. As a DM, I don't find them to be intrusive actually. So actually, it's quite a surprise. I think I don't know what the players think.
Out of us three, you're like the balance junkie out of the DMs, I would say. You're the one who thinks about the game stuff the most. I say in D&D, which is not a bad thing.
I certainly say, so just to refresh the audience, like in Heather Tuesday's campaign, Hollow Tower, when you finally beat one of the bosses on a floor, you get to choose them to be your patron, and they bestow you a power, which is an ability, which you can evoke, I believe, once on the floor of the tower, right?
Yeah, which means once on the floor, which means until you move to the next floor, you can't use that ability again. So I intentionally attempt to make it as appealing as possible to activate it. So like these are abilities that honestly, some might say are broken, but I remember
Context is
Hashi
it's
saying
used
that.
once, right?
Yeah, it's used once. That's the context. But I remember, I ran a one shot where their patron was Hoshimachi Suisei, and that was the first time I saw one of my patron boon in action, and I was ecstatic.
We were all floored.
Hashi was Hashi was worried because he was like. He was like DM. I cleared your entire floor just like that. I was like, yeah, exactly. That is the point of a patron boon. It's supposed to be a get out of jail free card. Get out of jail
I
card.
was scared.
And
I was scared for our lives when I used that.
But if I may say, like those patron abilities were once again based on interpretations of the Hollowlife VTuber talents, and we can certainly see parallels between those kinds of D&D homebrews to this, right? Hollowlife
Exactly.
version
Definitely.
1.0.0.
Yeah. Purple Fire 18. Thank you so much.
By the way, just like off
You're the
topic
man.
again, I'm sorry I had to bring that character in front of your eyes. That's probably one of the more cursed characters I've made in a while.
It was glorious.
Yeah, it was glory. It was. Honestly, I was ecstatic. They defeated this big encounter I had. Who cares? They activated a boon. I saw it work. It was awesome. And they were scared. They were like, okay, oh shit, guys, let's not just put this boon out just like that. We can fucking kill ourselves.
For context, for the audience, I made a character based on memes around John Walker in the Captain in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. I just took the worst
God,
yes.
screenshots that you could find off the guy and made it into a character.
Yes.
It was
And,
glorious.
And the boon they chose is basically mechanically the ninth level spell called Meteor Shower, I think, which is a
Swarm.
PHB spell. Meteor Swarm, Meteor.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they activated a Meteor Swarm in an enclosed space. Oh my god, it was beautiful.
Due to shenanigans, I made it out with no damage because rules are weird.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. So that's many ways to implement them as characters, but also mechanically. So
Yeah.
I can just imagine because Yeah, because Hoshimachi Suisei is based off of a comet, right? So
Yeah.
that's very fitting of her persona to be a giant meteor swarm.
Oh no.
Speaking of like boons or items inspired by these Hololive talents, the big thing that I've noticed from Hololive Magic Items version 1.0 from Purple Fire 18 is that a lot of them are magic items that require attunement, and even the attunement conditions seem to resemble at least Purple Fire 18's interpretations of Hololive talents in D&D. For example, one of these items is Sora's hairpin, that little red hairpin that she has, and in order to attune to it, you need to be female, which is interesting. I'm just looking through the encyclopedia right now,
Wait,
and
so
I've noticed
which
that they
page is
have
that, by
a
the way?
requirement.
That's the
It's the first one. I think.
yeah.
Generation Zero, yeah, like really get back into to these items, which are super cool and very unique. I'm just seeing a lot of parallels between the patrons and these items.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have Nakiri Ayame's two swords.
Yeah.
I think this was made pre-Duck Subaru when she had her hollow graffiti as a dinosaur. So it's called the Horn of the Subarusaurus.
Yeah. By the way, Hollow Graffiti. Who writes those episodes, man?
They are,
You all are unhinged. I
they are
don't know.
As far as I know, drugs are.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
They are. Oh my god, I'm looking at the cursed lunchbox from Hachama, and 2 to 5 on the roll, all below. Plus, you cannot speak any other words except for Hachama. Oh my god.
I think we need to really address some of these items here. So, like, I don't know if you guys had some time to look through them all, but if you know any of them in there and want to talk about them, I'm down. I know what's my favorite item already, but I think Goji's already brought up the lunchbox.
Yeah, let's talk
lunchbox
about what's
is
your
cursed.
favorite item in the list, Kiki.
Oh, well, we'll head back to the lunchbox later. Maybe we can read through that in the meantime. But I know my favorite, and I've seen it in previous versions. If you go down to the section for gamers, you'll see that the last item is called the Doom Dog's Blade Saw.
Yes,
Which
yes,
is based on,
yes.
which is a reference alluding to Korone's playthrough of Doom, which is an amazing playthrough, Let's Play series that you should check out if you're interested in both D&D and Hololive. So let's go into the mechanics of it. Weapon, in parentheses, greatsword, and legendary, requiring attunement by a barbarian. So this would insinuate that they think Korone is a barbarian in D&D. What do you guys think about that first? Do you
No,
think
Korone is a barbarian.
I would agree on that. I would agree.
I am going to spoil my players here. I'm gonna make Korone a what is one of the more like weird sort of lupine races in D&D, the one that looks like hyenas.
Oh, Knowles?
Knowles.
Yeah, I'm gonna make her a gnoll. A
How
gnoll.
dare you do that? How dare you do that to our dog?
Hey,
Oh my God.
it's a lupine race.
Yeah,
I
you
honestly-
do not know Hollowlife. You do not know
Yeah,
Hollowlife.
and honestly,
But
if,
yes,
if
Doom Dog-
I can imagine Corone's laugh coming out of a Knoll, like I can vividly imagine that right now.
Yes. But Doomdog's Blade Saw, why don't you read what it is, Kiki?
I love it, actually, really. So basically, like just to keep it concise, it is a +3 weapon. You would have +3 on attacks and damage rolls. To put it in perspective, +3 weapons, I think they really are like very rare, like a class in terms of D&D items. But
Yeah,
this
I
is
think-
legendary because it has even more than that. It's already a +3 item. But TLDR, this weapon puts the Barbarian Berserker subclass to shame because because its big feature is that additionally if a creature dies to this weapon, you can use your bonus action to repeat the attack. Repeat the attack using the same attack and damage rolls against another creature in 5 feet. So the Berserker, their big ability is like after they rage, they can attack for a bonus action, and this weapon just lets you do that, although with some conditions. And I find that kind of hilarious. Another thing that it does is that, as it says, when using this weapon while you are raging, you can re-roll each normal damage die once. You decide which result you use for each. So, like, imagine rolling damage twice and choosing the higher one every time. It's fucking crazy.
That is pretty crazy, actually. Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the special attunement section here as well. You have to sever
yes.
one of your fingers because the whole Yubi thing when she was playing
Exactly.
in that game. I forgot what it was called.
It was Limbo. Limbo.
Yeah, Limbo. Yes.
And yeah, like I think you can see that there's a lot of thought and passion put in as a Hollowlife fan to put even such a reference like this into D&D in the form of an item, and that's why Purple Fire's creation here is like so endearing. But that's the Doom Dog's blade saw, a great sword that is a chainsaw, only needs to be required by a barbarian. That's my favorite item. And I wonder, like, what's some of yours? Even though I'm not really a martial class player, I'm by the way a sorcerer main. But so I would never be able to play this. But if I ever play barbarian, I would love to.
It is interesting indeed. Oh,
I like two things actually from.
okay, let's hear them,
Gen 2.
Heather.
It's Noel's one, Shurigan is Knight's Armor, and Shiranui Flare's one, Burning Flare Gloves. Shurigan Knight's Armor, it's a half plate. I think I personally, in my campaign, would make it plate just because I made Noel a paladin. While wearing this armor, it allows you to wield heavy weapons, and you gain advantage on attack rolls made with weapons with a heavy property. So it's really good for paladins. I would say paladins, not really barbarians because you can't wear armor. It's like paladin or like some fighters. Additionally, wearing this armor does not impose disadvantage on stealth. However, you cannot benefit from advantage on stealth while wearing it. Finally, you gain advantage on strength checks, which is important
That's
for
actually a very interesting clause.
Yeah. And burning
like,
flare gloves.
most armors in the game inherently impose disadvantage, right? At least the
Most heavier
one.
armors, yes.
Yes. There's no way to go about it. Well, it's a half plate, so it's a medium armor. So he actually he kind of nerfed. He kind of has a nerf medium armor master. In my campaign, it would be really good because if I make it plate, then honestly, it's like it would be super good. But half plate is also good because if you see Noelle, if you see Shurigan in Noelle, you'll see that she's not actually wearing plate. I understand the interpretation that it is a half plate armor set just by her isekai version outfit or her original outfit.
Her design,
and the second one is burning flare gloves. While wearing these gloves, you gain resistance to fire damage and suffer none of the consequences of hot weather. So it's kind of like a boots of winter, the boots of the Winterlands.
That's true. Yeah, because it gives you no consequences on cold weather, I believe.
And here, additionally, these gloves allow you to cast the spells Burning Hands and Dragon's Breath as an action without material components, very important, one time each. If cast this way, Dragon's Breath will always deal fire damage. You regain the use of these spells after finishing a long rest. So
what's this referencing?
It's referencing flare burning trees in Minecraft.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
We all find out she was a pyromaniac.
Yeah.
Before we go any further with this, we actually have a viewer that says that they want to play D&D, but they have no one to play with. Last time that we mentioned this, we said that yes, you should, if you don't have anyone to play D&D with in person, I would say, then there are many resources that you can find online, such as in Reddit /LFG /looking for a game, and you can find some on the Roll20 forums as well. There are a lot of people that are looking for games to play, looking for players, and you just have to find whichever one works for you. There are also many Discord servers that will try to encompass new players and a lot of people that would love to have new players play with them as well.
Yep. Also, I would say that if you're...
Especially because of... I'm sorry, go ahead, Hashiro.
I would just say also, if you happen to be in a server where you don't feel compatible with the rest of the party, but you have like one friend that does, typically that friend will also have like, oh, I have another server. The D&D community is very like tight-knit like that. Like everyone knows another server if they don't like that certain server. Kind of thing.
Yes, it's like a Italian family gathering.
Yeah, kind of.
It's
I can certainly say that due to the situation, online D&D has become a much more popular way of playing the game. and it cannot be understressed that means to do so, such as subreddits that are dedicated to matchmaking, whole websites like Roll20.net, which is a dedicated virtual tabletop to play D&D, and of course Discord as a means to communicate. The combinations of these types of apps that are either matchmaking, the means to play, or the means to talk over long distances work together to make a very fulfilling online D&D experience. If you want a place to start, I highly recommend, as Asagoji said, the subreddit called LFG Roll20, or just LFG for other tabletop RPGs. LFG stands for looking for a game, and that's why it's called that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, and I hope you can find a game soon.
Yeah, fun game. You should at least try it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's another one of the rabbit holes that I fell down with this group of friends.
Yeah.
I would.
Anyways, sorry, you were talking about your the magic item that you really liked from Mr. or Miss Purple Flare, Purple Fire. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Do you have any hash?
This is gonna sound like I'm a simp, but I do like the Super Nene Bear Claws.
Here we go.
Here's the thing. I love with characters. You saw that with my cursed character.
That's true. That is true. The cursed character, another one-shot character. He does like his unarmed combat.
This helps unarmed combat. That's cool. I like that.
Mm.
It gives you extra 2d8 slashing damage. It's a standard boost, so I like that. You know, I'm an Ike main. I like bigger damage, but also I've been diving into cursed items, and I like a lot of them. And I like that this one has a
curse.
I like that this one has a funny curse. Like if you fail the saving throw, you just have to do the meme. You have to say the entire thing.
So wait, what is the curse of the item?
The curse of the item is I'll read it off the page. Yeah, attuning to it curses you until you are targeted by remove curse or similar magic. While you're attuned to the clause, you feel the need to say your full name and all of your titles, provided you have any. Whenever you introduce yourself to someone new, a successful wisdom saving throw of a DC 12 prevents you from the following through with this strange urge. So this is based off Nene having a paragraph-long title to her name.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to see this. I'm not that familiar with Nene.
Just search like Super Nene,
Bruh.
Giga something.
Giga. Oh my god, Nene.
Yeah, just
So
Nene,
this is
you mad
Momosuzu
lass.
Nene.
yeah, Momosuzu.
And where's her full name?
Momosuzu.
Is it?
Oh, but it might not be on the Wikipedia, but it's certainly there on her stream. So if you can find it, she likes to refer to herself as adjectives that just add to how great she is.
A bunch of I like.
Okay, here's on the Reddit. So if you don't mind, I would. Never mind. I was going to.
No, I do not read it. Do not read it.
Only Nene is powerful enough to recite the entire thing.
Yeah.
I think your stream can see how long that paragraph is, though, right?
Jesus.
I think only Nene is fated to defeat Shaggy.
Yes.
I am pretty sure.
I really like how at the end.
She's more powerful than Goku.
At the end. At the end, it says, and many, many more.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a lot of husbands.
There's
Very interesting girl.
Yeah.
Yes, that is does not. It doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, or anything in between. You just have that title,
Your
you know.
husband, you're Nene's husband. But also I don't know. I've been diving into cursed items. I really like. I think I said that to our group. The shield of missile attraction. I don't know why, that's just super funny to me.
It's not under Hollowlife there, right? It's just like a weird curse item.
It's just an item you can get in D&D, and it's this shield where you have resistance to ranged weapon attacks, but if your friend gets hit beside you with a weapon, with a longbow, it automatically goes to you. Because that's the curse of the. I don't know. I just like that kind of stuff where it's like, oh. Okay, that's the baggage that comes with the item. I'm not a big fan of curses that are oh, you reduce your hit dice every time you use it kind of thing. I like the ones where it's it tells you to do something inconvenient, or it does inconvenient things for you. It doesn't take away your experience in combat or anything like that. Other than that, I do like the what's it called, the Doom Dog's blade saw because other than monks, I like barbarians, and this is a barbarian item.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
That's
I'm like one
true.
of the 3 people in the world that love barbarians
Yeah, I tried playing a
I'm really
barbarian.
shaping up to play one soon.
to play.
Mm.
A lot of people are like, man, I love seeing barbarians, but I hate playing them. It's like, nah, I don't agree, bro.
Mm.
I certainly
Yeah.
have a barbarian concept coming up whenever I can play them. But yeah, I just really liked this item, and yeah, as the audience can see, items are like obviously essential to the D&D experience. They define how you fight and how you interact with the world, but they're not always like straightforward. Some have some have attunement at all, which to introduce the concept, it means you need to fulfill some requirements in order to use the weapon properly or use the item properly. And most of the time, like I think our friends know that, oh, you just need to be of a certain race, a certain class, etc. But some weapons, as we see in homebrew and even official content for D&D, have like what they call special attunement requirements, such as, oh, you need to cut a finger off, you need to gather the blood of your firstborn or whatever. Like some
Why?
items require you to commit as a character to do something that you otherwise might not want to do to use that item properly. And that's attunement. But what Hanif's favorite item here is straight up a curse, right? It has a curse clause, which is like you cannot. The second you attune to that item, the second you use it properly, you also have some sort of like
Inconvenience.
inconvenience forced upon you, and sometimes that's fun in D&D.
Yeah, it is. I truly think that like, there needs to be a balance of all kinds of items in D&D. Cursed items, items that require special attunement. I think one of my homebrew items, their special attunement is prove yourself to be the greatest idol, which is
Oh,
super
yeah.
vague, but I let the but yeah.
Tash, speaking of Nene's cursed item, if we're ever gonna, if my current character for your new campaign is ever gonna die, yes, you will be experiencing the full force of that item without the item in my new character.
Oh, what is your other? Is it the samurai?
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I assume it has claws or something like that. We'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah,
Anyway,
Well, if I may, I'm pretty sure one of us mentioned an item that they want to talk about before, and I think we should because it's an item that has a table, which we should explain to our audiences. Goji, you mentioned that you like the Red Heart lunchbox, right?
I love the cursed lunchbox. Yes.
Please tell us about it.
Well, to be honest, I just read this now because I didn't really really pay attention much to the cursed lunchbox until you mentioned it. But it's pretty much a strange lunchbox containing food, or rather questionable food, as we can see from Akai Hato's. Wait, is she Akai
the
Hato
lore
now,
is
or
a
is
bit
she
too complex.
Hachama?
They just call her Akai Hato for now.
Let us not
Just call her
go
Akai.
into Hachama.
Hachama's lore is more complex than all of our D&D world combined.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it's pretty much a lunchbox with questionable insides, and when you open it, you have to roll on a table. You have to roll a d20, and pretty much from that d20, it will correlate to this table here, and whatever you roll, that will be the contents of it. And I really enjoy this because none of this
You
is
like your tables, right?
none of this is good.
None of it's good. I'm looking at the effects right now. So I think this lunchbox is clearly a reference to. I think Akai Hato also has like really cursed cooking streams.
Yep.
Yes,
That is true.
She put, I think, okay, so she put tofu into curry, and then what else did she put? She almost put Red Bull into curry.
She ate tarantula, she ate gator, she ate kangaroo.
Yeah.
She
Let's not
she-
forget how she
oh.
butchered a takoyaki.
Yeah, in front of Luna.
Luna,
In front
the
of
biggest fan
Luna.
of takoyaki.
oh my god, and she burnt so many gyoza that I could it's so
She added
black.
that
I
gyoza-
felt like I was looking at a black hole.
Added that gyoza to the curry. I remember that. She added that burnt gyoza to the curry.
It was a very, very, very cursed stream.
Fuck.
I went back and looked at the archives, and oh my god.
Yeah.
This girl is worse or acts worse at cooking than I did when I was like 4 years old.
But honestly, guys, I think the Red Heart Lunchbox will be that game-breaking item that makes Berserker viable. Because look at 15 to 17, you remove all levels of exhaustion from yourself, and you cannot gain exhaustion levels for one.
An outdated version. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at the same version as Heather Tuesday right there, and yes, this item basically makes you roll a table for a set amount of effects, and one of the effects are to essentially remove exhaustion, a debuffing mechanic of 5e that makes your character lethargic and unable to do things well, and just remove that. If you ever have any of those on your character, you're just not exhausted anymore, which, as Heather Tuesday mentioned, is very relevant to players of the barbarian class.
Yeah, as a person who likes barbarians, let me give some perspective. Okay, the two I want to say like most played or best barbarian subclasses are generally the zealot and the totem warrior, and they have really good effects that have little to no demerits. The berserker is considered one of the worst subclasses in the game because
Of
you get
exhaustion. So much exhaustion.
That's the thing. You get exhaustion, and you have what? You can attack as a bonus action. Great.
For it.
You can do that without the subclass.
Yeah, there's like many different ways to get that without the subclass, and it's not a good enough benefit for the demerit. But yeah, this could actually make berserkers okay.
Certainly, you just consistently roll 15s to 17s.
Yeah, you have to constantly.
Depending on your luck.
Yeah, you have to push your luck. You see, this is how bad even a homebrew item, you have to push your luck to make it good.
I mean, if you roll a 1, that would be very, very very funny, to be honest. You turning into Hachama and having the DM control all your actions.
Well, it sucks for you as a player because you're like, damn, I can't play D&D now.
Yeah, man, like
see the chaos ensue.
That is true.
I mean, like, if you're, well, I would say just advice for using items for any item that's like this that's homebrewed. Don't bring it to your games where you're DMing for like your cousin, like your cousin for the first time or something like that. Bring it to you when you're with your boys or your girls, people you trust.
Mates.
Yeah, your mates.
Yes.
Never do it on the first time game. You're gonna make some enemies.
Yes, people are going to never want to play D&D again, maybe, if you like bring in all that craziness.
Yeah. But that's a...
Yeah, but take a look at that. We've been talking about a blade saw referencing to a dog girl playing Doom, a pair of gloves that reference an elf burning trees in Minecraft, and a lunchbox referencing a blonde girl's endeavors in cooking misdemeanor.
For like
This is the contents of Purple Fire 18's Hollowlife homebrew.
Yeah.
What a book! In all honesty,
he is a very very talented person.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever they are.
Whoever they are, yeah.
See,
we encourage you check it out. We had an entire plan for this, but we ended up answering all the further questions in our previous statements.
Yeah.
We sort of looped back to them a lot. So
if that's the case, let's have some fun, shall we? I actually planned a little bit about how if whenever we're done with the item section, I kind of wanted to see okay, because the Hollow Myth, the Hollowlife English, they just did a podcast about Calliope Mori, doing a sort of a character creation session for all the other Hollow EN girls, and I think it would be pretty.
That last night.
Yes, I think it would be very fun if we, other than the characters that we've already mentioned, if we can try to take a character. Take an avatar, a Hollowlife avatar, and see what kind of class it would be based on their character.
Oh my God.
It would be sort of a debate.
Yeah, let's share ideas.
Hash knows that I probably already made for all Hollowlife characters. It's my campaign.
Yeah, it's his campaign, and I'm his what's it called? I'm the idea bouncer when you're talking, when you need ideas. Hey, I have this idea. What do you think?
Yeah. honestly, let's make it a bit hard. Hollow Fantasy, quite straightforward. Let's go something a bit out there. Let's look at first gen of Hollowlife.
Okay,
So that
let's look that up.
Let's not just first gen. Let's take like other like things that if you've already made a character before, don't do them again. That's one rule. So I can't make all of fifth
Alright.
gen. I can't make all of fourth gen.
yeah.
But yeah, Hololive third gen is just off the bat,
Third
just
gen
like off the table.
Off the table.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
Hollow Myth is also off the table because that's too easy as well.
Okay.
That's also easy. Yeah.
Okay,
Hollow
Yeah.
Fantasy, yes. Okay.
so
So who wants to go first? Who wants to take a crack shot idea?
I will. I have an idea, and it's for Ozora Subaru that I had talked about it with the people here about my idea for Ozora Subaru. So I could.
Okay, let's hear it. I brought Subaru's avatar up onto the screen.
One of and I talked about it with Hash and Kiki, but I would make Ozora Subaru in Hollow Tower as a fighter samurai, but flavor it as a fencer. Those things you see in 18th century France. Those dueling people. So you have Fiona in League of Legends. That's the vibe.
Fiora.
That I
Fiora,
get.
you mean?
Fiora.
Fiora. It's been a long time,
It's fine,
guys.
it's fine.
I'm in Hollowlife now.
It's fine.
Yeah,
You
Fiora.
escaped the hell.
Yeah, Fiora the Grand Duelist. Yeah, that one. Like, it get that vibe with Subaru. So I would make her a fighter samurai, actually.
Well, that's okay. So I assume that this is also slightly in the context of the Hollow Tower, your campaign, right?
Yeah, context of Hollow Tower. She also one interesting thing that I could also add is to make her a Oath of the Watchers paladin because of her Ozora Kensetsu.
On her.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, her police. I really like that series. Well, it's not a series yet, but I really like it.
What alignment do you think she would be if we're talking about alignments for D&D?
So, in my interpretation, it's like probably lawful neutral.
Yeah.
Law abiding.
She brings the law.
Ozora-
Definitely brings the law.
Ozora Kensetsu.
Okay then. Well, if I may contrast with my own interpretation of Subaru, so we see that Heather Tuesday, your interpretation is very based on like how you perceive her, especially with her recent costume, right? And Ozora's costumes are very, at least much more masculine and tomboyish compared to other Hololive talents, right?
I'd say.
For costumes, yeah.
Like she wears a beret. She has short hair. She wears like a pretty academic, or even sometimes slightly like her original costume is with a cap, right, and very sporty. If I were to interpret Subaru in D&D, geez, how would I do that? Well, firstly, I would take the aspects, not really her design, but I'll indulge in the memes of her. So, firstly, race Ara Cochran. Interpret that as a duck.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
She might not have to fly, but let's just imagine there's that. Subaru has a recent spike in popularity because of the animated duck meme, which people are using with no context of what Hololive is.
And with
That's just
every song.
Yeah, that's just how pervasive that sub meme of Subaru is. But if I were to define her in a class, I know that Subaru speaks in a Japanese mannerism that's akin to an accent called Kansai, which is considered a little bit more brash, more outspoken, kind of louder. And if she really likes to use terms like boku ore, which are masculine ways of saying I, and call other people oh my in a really shouting voice, a really angrily tone. So I would make her a barbarian. For such reasons. Personally,
No.
I would interpret her as a barbarian.
I see.
And,
I get it.
There are many ways you could go about it. I think many of us have seen her antics. She's a really straight person, and if a joker messes with her, she really acts to pretend to be mad at them. So I really feel the rage. I feel the rage in her, in a fun sense. subclasses, I would either make her berserker because that's like the definition of a mad barbarian, or if I want to lean back into the bird duck concept, I would go totem warrior and take all the eagle options just because it's an eagle. Because if I may say here, totem spirit, the feature actually says your totem animal might be an animal related to those listed here, but more appropriate for your homeland. For example, you can choose a hawk or vulture in place of an eagle. Thus, she's a duck.
Okay, that's a very interesting interpretation.
That's the end of that, but that goes to show how different interpretations can be wildly different, right? So that's from me.
Kiki and Heather, I completely agree with those interpretations on what Subaru would be. Although my idea and interpretation on Subaru is completely different from your guys.
Shoot.
Go on.
Subaru is a artificer.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
And
Explain.
I'm pretty sure you've seen some of the how do I say this? Some of the streams that she's done on on Minecraft, and I'm pretty sure you might be familiar with the Shubagelion.
Oh my god,
I like that.
Oh my god,
Classic.
yeah.
That's cool.
A classic.
Cool, I like
Yes.
But like a moment for the retirement of Ozora Kensetsu, everyone.
Yes.
F
Wasn't
in
strong
the
enough.
chat, everyone, for that.
that.
Wasn't strong
All right,
enough.
so Shubangelion and Artificer, how do those link?
Pretty much, I would depend like you know, like the Evangelion, the how they're pretty much like how the robots, the Evas are like giant robots and stuff. I imagine that, but as a duck, and she built
Oh my
that,
god.
and she's like piloting a giant duck mecha robot.
Awesome. Yeah.
that's how I see
I'm
it.
seeing it now.
Artificer are more in the lines of for a bit of mechanics and roleplay, in that she's the one that's making it, because you know she spent a lot of time making that Shubagelion.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, isn't there a new Artificer subclass in Tasha's? It's called like you make an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, the armor.
It's like Iron Man and Kamen Rider combined.
Yeah, armor.
And it could be something like that.
Super good.
And I would also have to say that it's very like fitting as well, because there was one time when I think it was Miko and I forgot, it was another, I think it was Miko and Pecora that they messed with the building, the construction of the Shubagelion, and she made it so gory, as in they have like both of their heads like held up by Shubagelion.
Oh yeah.
I think I've seen that fan art. Yeah.
That's nice.
So yeah, look, that's three wildly different interpretations of one character in D
I
and
guess you
D.
could have a fourth with me. If we're all gonna
Please.
do Subaru right now. Oh, let's make it a bit funner. Let's choose one, and all four of us do that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a good format so far.
I made Subaru a Oath of Vengeance paladin. Now, why would you say that? I don't know if you guys remember, but in the early days of Hollowlife, when she was streaming a lot with Okayu, and they were doing in their old Minecraft world, I don't know if you know, but Subaru was very spiteful, very centered on like, I want to get them back. Remember when she asked her viewers specifically, guys, how do I get back at Okayu? Like how? What kind of
I do know that line. Yeah, she also does similar things for Pecora because she keeps having Minecraft antics these days.
God.
She burned down Pecora's house.
Yeah, she did. Spiteful indeed.
spiteful.
That's a nice angle.
Because I see
She burned up Pecora's house and then burnt down her own house on accident.
Yeah, that's why I was like, okay, I like this angle of her like wanting to get back at people. Not necessarily spiteful, but like she wants to get back at people, no matter what. And I see her on stream when she's with other people. She plays the straight man, and when they fire her, she always fires back. Like she doesn't say like, okay. She's like, no, listen to me. I don't know. I like that side, and you know, all the vengeance, the theme of vengeance, and everything. Also, Avenging Angel, you get flying speed. You get wings.
Ooh.
Yeah. You get
Duck
wings.
wings.
You get wings.
Yeah. So that's
Duck wings. Let's go.
That's my interpretation of it.
Nice.
So
Okay.
Alright.
that's Subaru from Gen 2. let's pick a.
So
Yeah.
suggest someone.
Yeah, let's.
So
Let's do
I
more.
chose.
Let's do more.
I
Kiki.
chose. Somebody else can choose. Yeah, the
Kiki,
other
you choose this
guest.
Yeah, let's do one each.
I choose this time.
Yeah, let's do one each.
Okay, well, I choose this time. Okay, so I want to suggest a format. I'm gonna say a Hollowlife talent's name. We all take a moment, and then after time's up, I'll just give it like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll ask you guys one by one. What's the race? If you have a race, what's the class and what's the subclass? Like, just go one by one. Like, okay, the idea for this, Goji shoot. After that, we talk about it and so on and so forth. How does that sound, guys?
Yeah,
That sounds
Sounds
fun.
good.
fun. Let's do that.
All right, so let me think. Let me think. What's a pretty obscure pick?
And let's not.
I put down
All right,
Doris.
Let's try and not pick
I
something
put
too
down
All right,
Doris.
so that Goji knows who it is. Because you remember Goji's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know. It's not gonna be too obscure.
I'm still
How
I'm
do
still
we-
a baby. I'm still a baby.
Okay,
Doris.
okay, gentlemen, please tell me your
Mhm.
D&D concept for roll Hollowlife Gamers Nekomata Okayu, the cat.
Oh.
Oh, got it. I already have it. I already
Okay,
have it.
we're gonna go. How about we go? Or we'll take some time, and I'll go last because I they called the shot. I'll ask in order. Let's say Hashiro, then Goji, then Heather, and then we'll see how it goes. Huh?
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Sure,
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it at each stop, though.
Oh, this is
So,
hard because I don't really watch Nekomata Okayu that much.
No problem. Based on whatever you know about them. So let's say I'll give you guys some time. I'll give you. Let's take a hot minute. In the meantime, I'll tell the audience what I know about Okayu, and then we'll head back to you guys. How does that sound?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, to all our viewers in the chat, Nekomata Okayu is a talent from Hollowlife's technically third generation, but they're called gamers. The whole point is that they are the generation of idols in this group that heavily focuses around playing games, even though other talents do that as well. The talents in there include Okayu and her colleagues Korone, Mio, and technically Fubuki as well. Their designs all involve animal ears, fox ears, dog ears, cat ears, wolf ears, and Okayu is the quintessential original cat girl of Hollowlife. Her personality is pretty lazy. She likes to eat onigiri and play retro games. She's very heavily paired with the dog girl Hollowlife, Inugami Korone, and together they like to play lots of retro games such as Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie, etc. And that's who she is. Her personality, she's very laid back and likes to tease her friends. So, I think that's a good description of who Okayu is. Her personality, her design, purple cat. How about we go straight to it, guys? Are you guys
I'm
ready?
not ready.
Sure.
I'm
I'm
not
ready.
yet. Somebody will go before me.
All right, that's no problem. If you're ready, how about we go to our first D&D depiction of Okayu, Goji. Hit us with what you've got.
I'm not really that familiar with Okayu that much, so but I would say
problem.
that from the content that I've seen of her, she would be a college of glamour bard.
Okay.
Ooh.
One thing for the bard is that very charismatic, but I would see that the whole stereotypical bard the stereotype of the bard in her what do you call it, in her interactions with Korone,
Oh.
how they're very 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 close and everything. I would see that as a bit stereotypical bard and like how their interactions are. And also, like in some of her her outfits, I would say, specifically, I think the main one, I would interpret like that kind of clothing, those kind of like loose pants and like a bit more looser clothes to be like something that would be more fitting to dancing, which is a way that bards are able to express their creativity and their art. Like rather than just singing and music, bards can dance.
All right.
All right.
Okay. I'm ready
As,
now.
okay.
I'm ready now. By the way. Fuck.
All right. So in a segue to that, Hashiro, how do you think of Goji's interpretation, and how would you do it differently?
I think Goji's interpretation is very. I would say it's accurate, and performers and stuff. That's an essential part of Hollowlife. Although it's understandable because Goji hasn't watched a lot of Nekomatakayu, but a bard can. I think you can make a bard any one of the Hollowlife girls, and it would sort of it would
เดี๋ยวไปดูครับ
because they're all performers, they're all stuff like that. Not saying your interpretation's bad or anything,
เดี๋ยวไปดูครับแม่
but it's definitely like the sort of one stop shop for Hollowlife. Now, how I would do it different is, I think, for some reason, Tuesday has the same idea. I would make her a arcane trickster rogue.
Ooh, arcane trickster
and why
rogue.
particularly
I
arcane trickster
see.
is because of Mage Hand Ledger Domain. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but way back then, Fubuki told this story about Okayu. How she stole her onigiri. She stole Fubuki's onigiri without her noticing. And the next time she saw it, it was already in her mouth. And I thought, that's kind of cool, isn't it? Like, she can slip past prying eyes and finesse her way to a piece of food that people are watching over. And I thought about it more. It's like,
All right.
thought about it more. It's like, oh wait, she also is the prank queen in Minecraft, in the old Minecraft servers.
She is. Yes, there's a lot of clips of her pranking.
Of course, I would make her. I would go the vanilla route, make her Tabaxi, because I feel like the sort of the nature of Tabaxi is similar to the nature of Okayu. And then I remembered, there's this one scene that that stuck with my head when she threw, what was it, potatoes at Noelle while she was fishing.
Oh my
And
god.
I thought, like, that's something you can only do in D&D with Mage Hand Ledger Domain. Throwing something at someone's pocket at a distance, that's Mage Hand Ledger Domain. Like, that's Okayu, change my mind kind of thing,
All right.
Okay.
So I can see like you got inspired by a certain episode of Okayu, right? And that's really endearing.
All right.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
All right, moving on, I suppose.
All right, yeah. Tuesday, how would you depict the cat girl of Hollowlife amongst many, but the OG Nekomata Okayu?
So, Hash got it right that I focus on her more sort of like prankful side, but I didn't choose Arcane Trickster. I chose Trickery Domain Cleric.
That makes sense. That makes sense too.
Why? Because in that you have Charm Person, and she can come off as very charming, actually.
She can.
She's been known to be with Shiranui Flare to be the harem king of Hollowlife.
Say that on stream.
But yeah, she has I do feel her little tricksterness in it. But whereas Hanif sees her more roguelike, the reason I chose Cleric is because even though she can be tricky, she feels very laid back, and rogues feel more up in there. I was debating whether it should be Cleric or something even more chill. But the Cleric feels more like a more stoic, like forward-facing stoic class. That's why I chose the Trickery Domain instead. And it's to sort of express that little tricksterness that Okayu has about her. So it's probably around the same reason. And the kit that the Trickery Domain gives you is pretty good to express that.
All right, awesome. Yeah, you can see how like we all take certain personality aspects or her design or episodes of what we know the streamer has done to really influence how we make these characters. That's awesome. So I'm going to attempt now, as the person that made this prompt, to take on Hashirobaka's challenge to change his mind potentially.
All right.
So let me dig deep into what aspects of Nekomata Okayu that I really want to portray here. I want to portray, personality-wise, the fact that she's laid back. She's really laid back. She almost sounds high all the time with her. And if she really was a cat, she'd be on catnip 24/7. She really sounds like that. Like she's always Okayu, ne. Like she's that really deep, low voice. She sounds like someone that's like really laid back and really can take a chill pill. Because of that stereotype personality, because of that personality trait of hers, that funnels very easily into the stereotype of D&D's druids.
Okay.
really attuned and does really laid back because of it. But that's one reason why. Secondly, I really went into the reason why I like Okayu. What got me into her was her playthroughs of Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64. I really those like if Hashiro got into Toa because of her early streams, these were the streams that got me into Okayu. And part of the reason why she loves those games is she likes the character design. She loves Donkey Kong on some sort of deep personal level, like how I might like Mario, for instance. She loves Banjo-Kazooie. She likes rare games, and she likes these fuzzy animals, and she really identifies the fact that she's a fuzzy animal herself. She says so. And so, being a druid, and if you are a Circle of the Shepherd, guess what you can summon? Gorillas and bears in different ways. And I like that a lot. I really think like if she was in a fantasy world where she could summon her favorite video game friends, she would do so by being a shepherd druid. And I think they give appropriate buffs. Like if you summon the bear, everyone around him becomes more hardy to get temp health. It's a very gamey system, and her being a gamer, another link. I feel like that really is quite appropriate. And a druid. So outside of their class features, one of their most unique spells are conjure animals, which I, as a druid player as of recent, know is a very fun spell. You get to fuck with the action economy on a mechanical level. But I feel like in storytelling, that it feeds more into Okayu being able to manifest her retro gaming fondness. She can really summon. I've wild shaped into a gorilla, but you can also summon a gorilla. Just have Donkey Kong there with you, and Donkey Kong is not just, for instance, just a normal gorilla. He's a fucking mighty ape, and the shepherd subclass of druids makes their summons actually magical. Their base attacks will be considered magical for getting around magical resistances. So you can just say, oh, the reason why all my summons, all these bears, all these gorillas that I summon are better than the normal ones you can summon is because they're Donkey Kong and Banjo-Kazooie, man. They're retro gaming icons. They're magical bears and gorillas. So that's my interpretation.
Okay.
The druid is laid back. You can manifest the fact that she's animalistic, and she would be a tabaxi as well, but that's not the most important thing. And she can wild shape into a cat if she wanted to. She might do that in roleplay. I think there's a lot of avenues in the druid class and the shepherd subclass to manifest animalistic, laid back personality and just bring creations and summons that represent other things. And that's how I would interpret her. And yeah, she can prank. She can totally still prank as a druid. They have fucked up spells to do that.
They have Mei-chan too, though, right?
Yeah, Mei-chan too. They can just entangle people for the fuck of it. They have what's it called again? Thorn Whip. One of my favorite cantrips. Yeah, totally. That's how I would depict her. But yeah, that's 4 different depictions of Nekomata Okayu. So who wants to go pick it next?
It's one of the hosts' turn now. Hash or me? Let's leave the baby for last. How about you go first now?
Okay.
Oh, the baby.
Okay. I am going to ask everyone, and this is gonna be a kind of a this is a curveball kind of. We're not talking about Hollowlife. Let's talk about some Hollow Stars.
Ooh. Shit.
My favorite.
I'm gonna make it easy, because he's probably the most famous right now. Make an interpretation of our favorite winning son, Yukoku Roberu.
Our winning son.
Yukoku Roberu. Everyone's winning sad. Sad.
All right. I'll get into this.
I absolutely recommend the Uno stream that Roberu, Rika, Matsuri, and Fubuki were in. That is a ride. That is a ride. That will make you fall in love with Hollow Stars by how absurd everything
one, right?
is.
The JoJo one.
Yeah, the JoJo.
That
Oh my god.
I love it.
That's so good. Honestly, that stream was S tier.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't know what it is with Uno, but Uno just brings this just brings out these Hollowlife Hollow Stars for some reason. It's something primal within them. Is brought out by Uno.
Have you seen that one? I think it was Roboko Lami, Kanata, and Toa. That was a weird combination that worked.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know what Uno brings a different side of you.
Okay then.
Oh,
Okay.
this is actually. I actually have an idea already. This
I'll
is
do the
very.
same thing that Kiki did
I'm
last
developing
round.
some ideas.
I'll tell the audience that Yukoku Ruberu is part of Hollowlife Corporation, but under a different brand called Hollowstars, which is basically male Hollowlife idols. He is a bartender for his own bar, Bar Robel. He's to describe his personality in short terms, I would say he is a very I don't know how else to say this, Gunbaro boy. Like you can tell he's always working his hardest. He's always trying his best, but also he's a punching bag. like
Yes.
like he's not afraid to be, what's it called? He's not afraid to be the butt of the joke, and that's something I think all of us respect for him. Like he'll be in the collab stream, he'll be the funnest guy in the room because he can take the joke.
Mama Nene, you better Koku no better.
Are you talking about that Mario
Mama
Kart?
Nene. Yes.
Oh fuck, that's so, dude. I don't want to be in that situation. That's so fucking awkward. Have you guys seen it? Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
Stream, Kiki and Tuesday.
No, not yet.
あなたの
No,
娘真似してます。I'm impersonating your daughter.
Oh my god, that is fucked up, man.
It's so that stream chaotic as fuck.
I loved it.
Of course, you know, everyone who's watched Hollowlife knows the meme. Everyone's winning son. Wins all the time.
Surprisingly, he's not bored of it. He's made it part of his
brand.
his
Well, that's the thing.
yeah, his brand.
That's the thing that I like about him. He goes with the joke. That's why I think like he's a good MC. He's a good host because he can ride with a joke very well. And he can like take it into stride. Mad respect. So. All right.
I see.
Are you guys still?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, roughly, I think.
Roughly.
Yeah, I think I am.
All right. Let's start with Goji. Who?
Oh, okay. So personally, what I think Roberto Yukoku is a wild magic sorcerer.
Oh.
Okay, I get it.
The reason why I'm thinking this is it's because I'm playing along his the winning son aspect of his what do you call it, of his character. And there's actually one of the features of the wild magic sorcerer is that you're able to, I think it was called the tides of magic or something like that. I'm playing a wild magic sorcerer right now, but I forgot what it's called. But that feature, it allows you to pretty much re-roll a ability check or something like that, a ability check, a save, or an attack roll. And I think that plays along into the how like the winning son aspect. But also, I feel like the chaotic nature of the wild magic sorcerer, in that he's always brought into situations where I think he brought upon himself, and they're really chaotic. Like the time where he brought the, I think was one, I forgot her name. She was one of the, I think it was a ninja VTuber. She's not part of Hollowlife. I think she's like a more. Yeah, and he pretty much dug himself down that hole about like the Aneshota stuff, and then he like he causes a lot of trouble for himself, and not always in a bad way, but it's something that he causes a lot of trouble for himself, but he knows how to like sort of capitalize on that a bit. And for the benefit of the doubt, I probably would give him the lucky feat.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's some specifications. And like it really highlights. Yeah, Roberto can certainly be chaotic at times. So, who would go next then? Hashiro.
I would say let's hear Tuesday's interpretation. I'm interested in that.
I thought of him to be the best rogue subclass, in my opinion, the swashbuckler. Look at the names of the swashbuckler kit, audience, all of you. Rakish audacity, panache, fancy footwork, elegant maneuver. All of this, I feel like, really embodies that go-getter nature, that energy that Roberto brings to the table. But you see him; he looks like a lithe guy. He has the frame, but he doesn't look like a buff-looking dude. So he needs to weave and dodge. You know what I mean? And Swashbuckler complements that in gameplay really well. So that's why I chose Swashbuckler. I think it really fits him. And look, if you look at Panache, it says, at 9th level, your charm becomes extraordinarily beguiling. As an action, you can make a charisma persuasion check contested by a creature's wisdom insight check. The creature must be able to hear blah, blah, blah. If you succeed on the check and the creature is hostile to you, it has disadvantage on attack rolls. But if they're not hostile to you, they're charmed by you for 1 minute.
Right.
So I feel like it is my favorite rogue subclass because it throws the idea of the rogue out the window and forces the rogue to go forward. And I think, it embodies that little sort of cunningness that I feel that Roberto has as an entertainer, but also that sort of energy he brings.
As expected of everyone's winning son.
Exactly.
All right, I get it. I agree with it. The Swashbuckler is definitely the least rogue-feeling rogue. It's way more present there. And if there's anything that Roberto has, it's certainly presence. The guy, he's got a loud mouth, sometimes to his own detriment, but to our entertainment. Love the guy for it. So I totally agree with that. But I think that leaves me and then yourself, Hashiro, right?
Let's hear you first, and then I'll go with mine, if that's okay with you.
Of course. So, what I want to personify, what I want to bring to light about Roberto in this D&D character is firstly his personality. As a former bartender myself, I get what it takes to be a bartender slightly. You really need to have the persuasion. You really need to have the presence to talk to customers. And if you've ever been at a bar, either as a customer or as a bartender, you know that people linger. Like, you think that, just get your drink and go away. But no, they stay and they talk. And Roberto knows that himself. And you can see that the way he talks brings this bartender character to life. You really are convinced that this guy's talked to people. Over a good glass of whiskey. And he even has a segment on his channel that's all about his bar, right? And inviting other VTubers to it. It's super fun. I recommend it. He's talked to Tomoshika from Voms. They have a good relation over that. So yeah, I want to embody his good talking, his good ability to speak, to be a friendly bartender, and the fact that he's a bartender at all. This forces him to definitely have to multi-class. He needs to be part bard to have jack of all trades and expertise in persuasion.
Right.
That's a must for him.
Okay.
He needs to be a smooth talker. He needs to be the face of the D&D group to get them in any tavern, any high-class tavern. In fact, he would get them in there so well. He would serve drinks for that bar and raise the roof at the party. So jack of all trades will empower him to do that. But this is D&D. He doesn't have to be exactly a bartender. I want to take the fact that he knows how to mix a good drink and talk well to the extreme.
Okay.
He's going to be, for the rest of his level, the main part of his build, Artificer Alchemist.
Okay, I see that.
That is ambitious.
So imagine this: he takes 2 levels of bard. He gets jack of all trades, but then 3 levels later, he takes 3 levels. He takes 3 levels of Artificer and goes into Alchemist. Immediately at the end of a long rest, and I imagine this guy being able to be in a long campaign, so there'll be lots of long rests. He can just keep making potions that do crazy shit, man. They can increase. Imagine instead of potions, you flavor them as shaking these crazy drinks that are magical, that can all of a sudden add to your AC, make your AC +1, make you have 10 feet more movement, make you fucking fly. And I would imagine that he makes these just by how charismatic he is. He can make these amazing drinks, these magical drinks. More importantly, that the spells that the spells that the artificer gets, there's a lot of healing. Artificers know both Cure Wounds and Healing Word. And Healing Word, it always feels like they speak to you and make you literally feel better, right? Because I always feel comfortable around Roberto, and I feel like he will be able to do so for his party. Just like finger gun, you give you a wink and do Healing Word as a bonus action. Action, give you a magical potion that makes you fly by how amazing it tastes, the alcohol. So yeah, That's the gist of it. He is very charismatic from his bard levels, but most importantly, he can make you feel better not only with his sweet words, but with his magical drinks and spells.
All right. Oh, that's a very profound interpretation. Now, before we get to mine, I have to say, it's getting a bit late. So after this round, unfortunately, Goji, we probably can't do your pick because
That's fine. That's
some
fine.
of us need to rest.
It's
No
perfectly
problem.
fine.
Super fun being here, though.
But I hope
Super fun being here on Dungeons, Dudes, and Dice.
Yeah, but I hope that you two had a great time with us, and I hope that one day
Definitely.
you could be guests again in our little podcast here. But moving on, but
Last, man.
yeah, moving on to my pick for what Roberto is. Now, I need to tell you my thought process first, all right? So,
All right.
at
yeah.
first, I thought Oath of Devotion, because once that boy sets a goal in his head, he's on it, right? But then I thought about it harder. My boy's horny on main. He ain't Oath of Devotion. He ain't Oath of Devotion, that's for sure. Boy's horny on main. So, I decided, okay, I'll backtrack. But I still want him to be a paladin. Because a paladin is someone... I see paladins as like leaders. As people who go through the barrier first so that others can get through. And then I saw one of my favorite paladin classes, the Oath of Glory. And
I swear to God, no.
and then I saw Guiding Bolt. And I thought that was so poetic for Roberu, because he is the first guy he's the first Holostars member to reach above 100k. And he showed the rest of the Holostars member, guys, this is possible. We can do this. And the others took his achievement to stride, and now I think a few of them are above 100k now. You know, they did what he did.
He was the first.
Yeah, but they did what he did, you know, collab with other people, always be on there for streams, give it your 100%. And I love that quote that he had about Idolmaster. It's like, I don't understand why the side M can't interact with normal Idolmaster. I want to break that stereotype. I want to be that idol that links the two together. So, other than that,
Oh, that's poetic.
Other than that, I also want him to multi-class into College of Eloquence Bard, because of course my boy's a smooth talker. He can take a joke.
We all say that.
He can get into a room and be the life of the party, with or without being the butt of the joke. And I think, and that's, as a guy who's done public speaking and done MCing, that's hard. It's not easy, especially when somebody puts you on the spotlight. Like when he did that stream with the ninja girl. Like if I was in his shoes, I'd be shaking. I wouldn't know what to say. But my boy pulled out in the end, and made himself, without taking away from his guest, the star of the show. And I think that's essentially what Roberu is. Also, I wanted Paladin in there instead of just all Bard, because again, my boy can take a beating, and and the Paladin's hit dice is a D10, so
He can't.
he can't take a hitting. So, I believe that's all the time we have today.
Yeah.
Dungeon Dice.
It's
It's
thank you so much for having me.
no, it's
Yeah, it's having me. It was a blast to be here.
no, man. Thank you for coming. Honestly, I think our stream had an entirely different dynamic with you two here. Hope we can talk about this again sometime. But for those who are still watching, I'm sorry we can't do Q&A at the time. We got carried
It's
away.
very late in
It's
Japan,
very
yes.
late where we are, and we got carried away. But we had fun getting carried away. So see you guys in another 2 weeks, where we'll talk about another thing in Dungeons and Dragons. Have a good night.
Yes, or actually, yes, we actually might do a it's very long in the process, but maybe we can actually have like a podcast or Dungeons and Dragons live stream, an actual campaign live stream. I might not be able to take that up because I am a horrible dungeon master, being that I sort of abandoned my campaigns. Sadly, I'm very sorry, everyone.
Hey, no problem. It happens, dude.
Life happens.
It happens.
But yes, we actually might have that because a lot of our viewers and some of our friends have actually they've expressed interest in joining us if we're ever doing a campaign. So I think that would be very fun It could be either a one shot or an actual campaign. I think that would be very fun for the campaign, and it can bring in more insight for people that might want to start playing D&D, which we would love to help out.
Of course, yeah. Well,
All right, we
Very
can totally see
interesting.
where that goes. But I want to just say I've had a fun time being on this podcast,
Yep,
talking about
definitely.
a really weird topic if you think about it, combining VTubers, Hollowlife, and Dungeons and Dragons. And I think it was a very unique opportunity. I loved being here the whole time.
Mm. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, guys. Glad to have you here. And yeah, if that's all we have, we're gonna. I think this is where we're gonna end. Thank you, everyone who stayed with us for the entire, our entire, what's it called?
2 hours ish.
Yeah, 2 hours ish session of just
Runtime?
talking about VTubers and D&D.
Just simping
Just simping.
for two things.
It's hardcore simping, baby.
Barbarian Subaru forever.
Yeah. Check out all the stuff that we've talked about, the homebrew items, Roll20 as a service, Reddit. Get a couple of games of D&D on you. It's a great game, especially in this time. And yeah.
The archives of this, because it's not going to be on Twitch forever, but you can find the archives of this on Hash's YouTube channel.
YouTube/Hashirubaka. Please come in. I do other videos. But yeah, other than that, I think we're gonna end.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you guys in another 2 weeks.
Bye bye, guys.
All right,
Bye, guys.
guys. Have a good one.
See you guys. Have you guys ended yet?